Recently, the Catalyst Clash arenas all got a buff. The Tier 1 Alpha, the Tier 4 Basic, and the Tier 4 Class Catalyst. And the Tier 4 Basic and Tier 1 Alpha, those are pretty obvious buffs. If you need those catalysts, then yeah, you do those arenas, right? But what about the Class Catalyst arena? It's a little bit less obvious because if we look at the rewards, only the top 25 people actually walk away with a Tier 4 Class Catalyst crystal. Anything less than that, and you're getting some crystals that, well, frankly, if you're doing this arena, you probably don't care about a whole lot. And the milestones, where you would normally get a Tier 1 Alpha or Tier 4 Basic in the other arenas, it only awards these Ascendant crystals, which they do have a chance to give a Tier 4 class Catalyst, but, it's not a very high one. We don't have the exact odds like we do with other crystals, like this Premium Hero Crystal here, but I can tell you from experience and kind of scouting around other openings that Tier 4 class Catalysts are quite rare out of these Ascendant crystals. Recently, it got buffed, and we got an additional milestone at 2.5 million to give us another Ascendant crystal and 10 of these Tier 4 class Catalyst Fragment crystals. Alright, at least we have some guaranteed class Catalyst drops of some sort, right? Even if it's not a fully formed one. And I want to figure out, is it actually worth going for? You can see here, I did go for the 2.5 million this last round. This is my first time doing this arena since it got buffed. I don't think it was worth doing previously when there was this 1.5 million milestone, and this was the only milestone available. I really don't think it was worth doing unless you were just arena crazy, you crushed every single arena, and you had spare time left over somehow, and you were like, hey, I might as well just keep grabbing rewards, and you grabbed this thing too. That's like the only way it was worth it at that time. But now that we have a second milestone at 2.5, it's a little bit different. I mean, I don't see this exactly as just adding on additional million points to this arena. Yeah, that's what we're doing, is it's just an extra million points, but it's easier than getting like the first million in this arena is what I mean, because we don't have to go through building up the infinite streak. There's those few rounds where, yeah, you have to get the multiplier started up and you're really not getting any points, and then you got to go through those really crappy, annoying rounds between like 9 and 15 where, the fights take a lot longer, you're trying to bait out specials, the enemy just won't throw them. You don't have to do that again. You only do that the one time. So it's kind of a big deal that not only do you not have to do that, but it's also not double the amount of points to get that second Ascendant Crystal. It's only 1 million. So it might actually be worth it. It's worth looking into at least. But how do we figure out if it really is worth it or not? Well, we have to kind of make some estimations here about the drop rate of the contents of this Ascendant Crystal. And I can tell you that for the most part, you're going to be pulling ISO 8 out of this crystal. And that's kind of the worst part about the Ascendant Crystal, is that, yeah, you have a chance to get some other things, and those other things are quite valuable, but for the most part, you could put all that effort into this arena, and you could just get ISO. I would say it's about a 75% chance to get ISO or so. And you also have Tier 4 Basic, Tier 1 Alpha, and Tier 4 Class Catalyst in there. So let's go ahead, and I started up a little bit of a spreadsheet. Chance to get ISO, we're going to call 75%. Now again, these are just estimations, so it might be off a little bit, but it is going to give us at least an idea of what the value of these Ascendant Crystals are. The Alpha, I would say, is about a 10% chance. Same thing for the Basic, and Class is about a 5% chance. Now again, these values might change slightly. Maybe it's a 12% chance for the Alpha and only an 8% for the Basic, something like that. I don't know. But I do feel like, after looking at my past openings, some other videos on YouTube, some posts on Reddit, I've got at least, it's somewhat close to being what's actually inside of this crystal. Alright, then we need to figure out the actual unit value of all of these things. And I'm going to give the unit value for myself on these, because it's going to change for every single person. So ISO, I don't need ISO. That's a 0 value. Tier 1 Alpha, I need these things. I'm constantly using these, constantly trying to buy them from the Glory Store whenever I'm not buying potions. Same thing for the Tier 4 Basic. The Class Catalyst, I don't actually need, but I know a lot of people do need this, so we're going to give this one a range. But let me show you in game how I come up with the value for some of these items. So the Tier 1 Alpha. Let's go to the Glory Store. And this, if you've ever watched me break down the deals that come around for units, this is usually where I start, is going to the Glory Store and saying, well, the price of a Tier 1 Alpha is roughly equivalent to that of a level 4 health potion. Actually, I didn't buy any health potion today. I'm going to scoop one up right now. It's 260 glory. And, I mean, the Tier 1 Alpha actually got reduced in cost. It used to be a little bit more expensive, and now even the second one here is only 265, which is pretty good, honestly. It's really good, in fact. I used to consider Tier 1 Alphas to be about 100 units in value, but looking at the price reduction in the store, the availability of a second Tier 1 Alpha if you need it through the arena, and then these things just generally being included in a lot of deals that come around, I'm going to drop the value of these to about 80 units. And again, this is just for me personally. So let's go ahead and fill that in. 80 units. I mean, the other thing about, you know, comparing, if we really wanted to break down a little bit further about what goes on in my mind about these, I mean, the level 4 health potions, if we go to the store, these things are 100 units a pop, but sometimes there's potion sales where they're as low as 50 units a pop. Sometimes they're 50% off, sometimes they're only 25% off. There's also halls of healing where you can get some of these for free occasionally. So I don't consider these to be exactly 100 units in value, and that's kind of why I consider the alpha to be approximately 80. Now the Tier 4 basic, last update, when, you know, before they changed the arenas, before they allowed us to get a second one through the arenas, before they made it a little bit cheaper through Glory Store, I consider these things to be about 300 units each. And I still consider them to be about 300 units each, only because it's the resource that holds me back the most. This is what stops my progression. If I had an infinite supply of these things, I would level up all of my 4-star champions to rank 4 so that I could take them through the arena. I mean, I know I've even considered doing things like going beyond what I feel like the item is worth, and doing, you know, running like the expert proving ground. And I did the math on it previously. I can't remember exactly what numbers I came up with, but in the past, maybe a few months back, I looked at exactly the amount of fragments that you got from doing the expert proving grounds, figured out how much energy it would take, and then how many energy refills I would need to buy in order to run it every single day. And I think the price came out to be roughly 400 units per Tier 4 basic doing it through this way. And I just like, that's like, is worth considering, but it was still just a little bit too much for me to actually do it. But there are times where, I think it's important to kind of do things in this game that are not like if you really want something, you can't just go by what it's worth. Sometimes you have to pay a little bit extra in order to get it, right? Pay a little bit of a premium if you want to get every Tier 4 class catalyst or Tier 4 basic catalyst that is available in game. If you really want to kind of push in this game and make up ground and catch up to other players and that kind of thing. But alright, anyway, I consider Tier 4 basics to be about 300 units in value, essentially. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Alright, Tier 4 class catalyst is a little bit interesting. I don't exactly follow the same methods. I mean, it's roughly the same methods as coming up with the Tier 1 Alpha and Tier 4 basic prices. But I don't really judge it by these glory crystals. I feel like the glory crystals are a little bit overpriced in the glory store, and I think Kabam does this to try to motivate people to run higher level maps, because you can get Tier 4 class catalysts for free if you do like map 5 of Alliance Quest. You might not have like an infinite supply of them, but you do get that stuff, for free essentially, or for the cost of donations for that map and that time and stuff. But in terms of glory, you can spend that glory elsewhere if you're running map 5. And you have been consistently for a while, right? If you just started doing map 5, then yeah, you're not going to have you're not really going to have a good supply of Tier 4 class catalysts. But a lot of people who do run map 5 have good prestige. They don't have to spend their glory on these glory crystals, and they're still able to get Tier 4 class catalysts. But I also consider the price based on some of the offers that I've seen that include Tier 4 class catalysts recently, and a lot of the ones that include Tier 4 class catalysts are really good deals. And they, Kabam doesn't price the class catalyst as that expensive in the deals in recent times, in the last 6 months or so, 6-8 months. And I feel like the value, if I really needed class catalysts, what I would buy them at is about 500 units each. So I'm going to put a range of 0 to 500 for the Tier 4 class catalyst. And then we have to kind of figure out, okay, well, if it's, you know, we multiply like the chance by the unit value. So 0 value at a 75% chance, well, 75% of the time we're getting 0 value. 10% of the time on an 80 value item is 8 units. Tier 4 basic, 10% on 300 is 30. 5% on 0 to 500 is 0 to 25. Okay, so this is essentially the value of one Ascendant crystal, which is, what is this, 38 to 63 units. That's what it comes out to for one Ascendant crystal. But of course, we can multiply this by 2, and we come out with 76 to 126, and that is the value of, if you know, both Ascendant crystals put together. The class catalyst, the fragment crystals here, you know, if I'm considering a full Tier 4 class catalyst to be about a 500 unit value, this is 20% of one class catalyst. Each fragment is 700 and each fragment crystal, I should say, is 720 fragments. 10 of them 7,200, and that is 20% of 3,600, which is the fully formed one. So 20% of 500 is 100, and there is, I mean, well, it's, you know, it's, I should say 0 to, right? If you need these things or not, 0 to 100 for the fragment crystals. It's going to be exactly the same for these other values here, and whoops. Can't control my spreadsheets. Alright, so that puts the final value of this arena essentially at 76 to 226 units. Now you also get 30 units through the milestones themselves. If we go back to that arena real quick, you do get 30 units in you know, in that arena. It does cost 10,000 battle chips. If we really want to figure out the you know, a good estimate for what those, like what the unit cost to get into this arena is, it's approximately 18 units. 10,000 battle chips is roughly equal to 18 units. So you can say we can get an additional 12 units out of these milestones. So if we really want to, we can correct this and say 88 to 238. That's like the real value of this arena right here. So, is it worth doing? Well, essentially, 88 units for 2.5 million is not worth it. So if you don't need the class catalyst items, then no, it's probably not worth it unless you're running this arena on a Sunday. I do think that this arena is more valuable than the Sunday arenas where you're just getting some shards. I would absolutely rather take my chances with these Ascendant crystals. Again, though, a lot of the times you are just going to strike out. I actually popped open both of the Ascendant crystals that I got, and I got ISO. So that cut my value completely out for the Ascendant crystals, right? It's just a chance to, you know, to get these items. But if I got, let's say if I got 2 Tier 4 basics, then boom, that was like 600 units in value. But no, it ended up being essentially 0 units in value from this grind in particular, or you know, I got the 12 units or so from milestones, but definitely you know, it didn't work out in my favor this time. But I have gotten a bunch of Tier 4 basics and Tier 1 alphas in the past from this arena. I've actually never gotten a class catalyst, but that's kind of alright since I have a decent supply of them right now. But anyway, the people who really benefit from this arena, who have about a 238 unit value, I would say, are the people who need class catalysts. If you need class catalysts, then this arena, in my opinion, is more valuable than running any of the other arenas. When this arena is on, you know, you want to set everything else aside, unless you're going for a champion or something like that. If you're going for the, you know, the basic champion or something, okay, keep going for it. But if you're doing that arena just for the milestones, don't do this arena instead. It's going to do more for your account in the long term than the other arena will. So there you have it. That's how I break down the Tier 4 class Catalyst Arena. Of all the Catalyst clashes, the class, the basic, and the alpha, I would say the you know, the basic and the alpha arenas, they're still much more valuable. You're getting the guaranteed value there versus rolling the dice with an Ascendant crystal. But if you do need these fragment crystals, at least those are guaranteed. and they are a pretty decent value, and they are going to help you progress if you are having a hard time getting Tier 4 class Catalyst items. The other way, I would say, to really get Tier 4 class Catalyst reliably, if you're not willing to do the higher level maps, is to save your units and spend your units on those deals when they come around. They will definitely help you progress in this game faster than just about anything, and I think Kabam actually comes out with pretty reasonable offers whenever they include Tier 4 class Catalysts, and I think they do that because they know that a portion of the player base really doesn't need them anymore. And I'm talking about when they sell them for units. Take all the units that you're saving from from getting arena milestones and questing and that kind of thing, and don't spend them on crystals. Instead, spend them on those offers when they come around. Alright, I have more tips coming for people who want to progress in this game in a free-to-play way coming soon, but for now, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.